What's going on, my beautiful gun-vengeful, gun-holding screens? Then ready to celebrate, gun-willing to rub Snyder fans' nose on the ground. A wave of absolute sheer, complete terror came after the most horrific timing, the perfect storm, the most fretful of fears has formed when Lamter's trailer got an actual amazing reception and the news that the Paramount merger suffered a halt and probably a huge postponing of almost a year arrived this weekend.
Who's kicking who around now?
But is it really the case? Should you be so excited, so damn excited like you are now, then Tornadoes? Oh no. Is the merger over? Is it done and dusted? It's just how you Snyder Burrows should feel now? One of the most hateable things one has to do today is to bring in politics to the table, but that's helpless, folks, sorry. When it comes to entertainment and the merger themselves, we'll have to touch that until, well, in this particular case, it closes. And it will.
Faith, Ellison. Faith.
Actually, it ain't really a question of faith, as if it is needed any, but more of logical thinking, analyzing, well, the past strategies. So chill out, Snyder fans, and keep your enthusiasm where your brain is, gun tornadoes. That means the nowhere.
Has anybody ever told you you have a serious impulse control problem?
Like I said, no one likes to talk about politics in this place, this island the entertainment world should be. But here's the thing. Donald Trump is friends with the Ellisons. Logic. He's very much interested in this merger. We all know about it for one reason. CNN. Logic again. The rest of the big, juicy package of IPs and the vast catalog of Warner Brothers comes as a plus, an extra, so much desired, of course, by David Ellison himself. Logic again. Now let's go to strategic thought. Donald Trump pulled himself out of the scenario of the merger back in February 2026. Up to that point, and we talked about it here, this channel at the time, no investors wanted to even hear Paramount's offers. The moment Trump says he's out, they do hear, and in a matter of days, Netflix is kicked out and Paramount swiftly takes the cup home.
Coincidence? I think not!
This is typically in Trump's playbook, and is also more likely than not that it's also in the playbook of all of his friends. You go, you make an offer, things go a little sideways, you move out of the table, then you're back in with it all.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, it worked with Trump. And this is more likely the path that the Ellisons are following now, but not in the negotiation style, more than the legal style. Well, just to remind you, Trump needs CNN this year. He has midterms elections and is Gavin Windish. So he has now one big cannon, Fox News. And now he wants another one, CNN. But of course, he ain't the only one to know that. Now, if for David Ellison, there won't be any of the bureaucratic barriers the poor Cat Sarandos have to go through.
And will this be a fully exclusive 45-day theatrical window?
Fully exclusive to theaters, yes.
And will this be self-enforced? In other words, if you fall short of that?
It is the industry standard for self-enforcement. However, Routinely, movies that underperform. Routinely underperform. The window moves a little bit, and Superman was a little shorter window, and Sinners was a little longer window. And Superman was a little shorter window, and Sinners was a little longer window.
And Superman was a little shorter window.
Routinely, movies that underperform. The window moves a little bit, and Superman was a little shorter window, and Sinners was a little longer. Routinely underperform, and Superman, but they still could refer to it as a 45-day window.
Davey Ellison has to use a strategy to defeat the other suckbacks that are showing as a counterattack from those who know what Trump wants and why. Judge Araceli Martinez Olguin, renowned for being an activist before taken as a judge in favor of immigrants, has set a, let's put in perspective here, expected block on the, Trump-Ellison move, that's the truth, the Paramount merger. Suggests one of many who have positioned themselves against it for diverse reasons.
So they do have, actually, it's not actually a trial. It is going to be preliminary stuff coming up, and there are some things that were presented by some of the states. And I don't think any of these things are going to hold up. And I will tell you that the reason they agreed to delay it is so that the court can take its time, do what it needs to. They totally believe they are in the right, and that this will go through, and they are willing to wait it out. And so they are totally willing to allow this legal challenge to go through, which is a sign that they are trusting in what's going to happen. But it is delayed until June 1st of 2027, unless everything gets through the court sooner. So that is a provision of this. If all of the lawsuits either get thrown out or the courts decide what is going to happen prior to then it will happen sooner. What does this mean?
Now, I will say this. I've been seeing the gun glazers all in my comments. All in my comments. The DCU has won. The Snyderverse is not coming back. Paramount is not buying WB. Well, from this headline, it's just delayed. But we're going to jump into the article and see what it's talking with. Let's see what Cosmic Book News got for us. Let's get it. So it says the 2-week pause just turned to a pause that could last until June 2027. Paramount on Friday signed a court agreement promising not to close its $110 billion purchase of Warner Bros. Nobody ordered Paramount to do this. It's agreed. Why? The judge already wrote, there are serious questions about this deal, and losing an injunction usually kills a merger dead. So Paramount skipped the coin flip to fight the whole war instead. A full trial, all evidence where it believes it wins. Starting October 1st, Paramount owes WB shareholders roughly $650 million. Every quarter, the deal stays open. A trial in spring 2027 means those checks could stack past $1 billion. If it never closes because of all this, Paramount owes WB a $7 billion breakup. The freeze is June 1st, 2027. End date sits days before the deal's own drop dead date. The entire war is now scheduled to end at the edge of the cliff. Every domino my insiders have described, Gun Out, DeLuca, and Abdian, the Batman plans cannot legally start falling until there's a verdict. The chaos our insiders describe inside WB projects on hold. Everything frozen now runs until a jury of facts decides whether the company gets bought whole or ends up sold off in pieces. Zack Snyder saw this coming. Want to know what waiting until 2027 looks like? Check Zack Snyder's calendar. That is true. Snyder isn't walking away from DC. He's scheduling around a courtroom. It sounds to me Paramount is just going to do it the legal way through the courtroom because they have enough solid evidence. They believe they can win, and then it's over.
As of now, the merger should have happened a week ago, and we should have been rubbing our hands expecting the sounds of heads rolling until the DC Studios and its universe is finally rebooted. But all of a sudden, we get some bad news coming from Cosmic Book News for all those who said they're all in favor of Snyder Bros and etc. And instead, we have the disheartening information that we'll have to wait until 2027 when Shinny Owns and the DFIDU will pick up steam. Fire, power, confidence, but and forced their way into continuity after that. Is it really the case?
The Paramount takeover of Warner Bros. Discovery is frozen in court, but nobody on the buying side is acting like the deal is dead. Exactly. But the haters are running with that. Paramount CEO David Ellison sent a company-wide memo Monday morning projecting confidence that the $111 billion acquisition will cross the finish line, writing that we remain highly confident that this transaction does not pose any legal issues and that the two companies will be brought together. Ellison argued the facts and the law favor Paramount's side and that a full hearing will show why the plaintiffs shouldn't prevail. Ellison also pointed to the deal's global track record with regulators across 65 jurisdictions, including the European Commission, China, and the U.S. having cleared the transaction or declined to challenge it. Speaking on the town, Bellani said he is skeptical they will ever walk away from the deal. They are going to go until the Supreme Court either decides in their favor, tells them to get lost, or declines to take the case, said Bellani. And as insiders have since reiterated to me, if the merger doesn't happen, Warner Bros. Gets broken down and sold off in pieces. There is no version of this where WBD simply carries on as it was. The Snyderverse is back in play as the Luca and Abney era takes shape, with Snyder gung-ho about adopting the Dark Knight Return and finishing his Justice League arc once the deal is done. WB controls news outlets. They own news outlets. Paramount wants them news outlets. We already know what it is. They want them news outlets, so I think it's just diving into political. So we will have to see how things play out. But listen, we already know with Paramount, Snyderverse is back in play. That's the main reason why the haters don't want the merger to happen. We want the Snyderverse back. Majority of DC fans want the Snyderverse back. Hell, we might as well say it. Fans globally want the Snyderverse back. So it is what it is, let the haters continue to chirp. Like I told y'all before, man, you just got to master your patience.
So this is it. David Ellison may be playing lamb, dead, weak, feeble, innocent, showing instead the gigantic crater the local courts are dealing against his company and going up against countless legal and national institutions that approved of this merger. And that could be considered a personal directed attack, not something that is really in actual legal interests. And that, in turn, may speed it up to the Supreme Court or Trump, well, yes, has far more influence. Playbook play, drops his cool, all in between friends, no surprises. So, yeah, setbacks were expected. Yeah, they knew where they come from, and probably this halt will expose nerves, truths, and enemies of the merger even more clearly and objectively than if they try to fight one little judge, apparently very much ideologically guided, in every little obstacle. And so, instead of stalling, roads can be clear and the race sped up better than in any other way, shape, or form.
And the truth shall set you free!
Well, this is all we have for now, and if you stay thus far, thank you, like, subscribe, and we will be seeing in the future.